What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to compare the Audi RS3 to the Lamborghini Gallardo. Now are these direct competitors? Obviously not. They're practically 20 years apart as far as their technology goes. However, this is my wife's and my car. We like them both a lot. They're both Volkswagen products and honestly it's a pretty cool duo. I am comparing the Type R Civic to the Lambo as well. So take a look at that video down below and the Type R versus the RS3 down in the description too. But the Lambo versus the RS3. This is going to be obviously an interesting comparison, but we're going to go over how these two Volkswagens stack up as far as a garage duo. Is this the ultimate duo for super cool cars with unique engines? Speaking of the engines, the Audi RS3 is going to feature a 2.5 liter inline 5-cylinder turbocharged motor. This has 401 horsepower with 369 pound-feet of torque. There's a 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch transmission with Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system. 0 to 60 can even happen in under 3.5 seconds. And then curb weight is around 3,600 pounds. Now taking a look over at the Lamborghini, it's basically two of the Audi's inline 5-cylinder engines in some ways. This has a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated 10-cylinder motor. This one has 550 horsepower with 398 pound-feet of torque. Has a 6-speed single clutch automated manual transmission. This model is rear-wheel drive. Curb weight is just over 3,000 pounds and 0 to 60 can happen in 3.9 seconds. Now exterior styling isn't anything close between these two cars. The RS3 is a compact sedan with a very bold and aggressive design to it, and it looks way big comparing it to the little Lambo. Of course, we have that wedge-shaped supercar design to it. I love the white and black aspects of the Gallardo. Got the carbon wing on it. Of course, you're going to see that low-slung design with the wedge shape that any Lamborghini is known for. And then the RS3 is going to have more of that modern wide-body type of design with these bulges in the fenders. Really cool look with the blacked out aspects all throughout it. So of course, very different cars, and I think they both look pretty cool for what they are. Now for the interior, while both of these vehicles are Volkswagen Group products, this is the modern Audi everything, so you're not really going to see much carryover from this RS3 to the Gallardo. However, the previous generation multimedia screen, climate controls, radio controls are going to actually be very similar to what you see in the Gallardo. So this one's going to get some Alcantara, some synthetic leathers, Nappa leather with the red honeycomb stitching on the seats. Of course, pretty good view around given it is a 4-door sedan as you would expect. You have a modern gauge cluster and you can change that as well into a pretty cool look. So pretty nice to see all the modern tech you would expect. Center multimedia screen like we would expect on any new Audi. All of your large tiles. Nice backup camera with HD graphics and parking sensors. Physical climate controls. Plenty of storage given this is a sedan. And there's a little bit of carbon fiber up on the dashboard with a leather wrapped steering wheel with paddle shifters. Now you are going to get Nappa leather covering every single surface in the Lamborghini. I do like how they both have the red stitching throughout. This one you're going to have a significantly different view around given this is a wedge-shaped supercar. And then the gauge cluster in the center is what you're going to see on other Audis as well. So previous gen Audis, this center screen and gauge cluster is actually going to be very familiar. So pretty unique to see that. Nice leather wrapped steering wheel, same steering wheel that was on our previous gen Audi S3. So the old RS3 even has this steering wheel, just a little bit different on the leather. We have column mounted paddle shifters rather than them on the steering wheel, but super different car. You got a little bit of storage in the doors and then just a small cup holder and a small shelf behind these seats. Now the type of driving I use this car for are the opposites. This is a toy. This is basically what I bought this for. It is purely a toy to have fun with, but I also do the basic transportation. So really nothing in the middle. It's primarily basic transportation going to like a dealership and back just to film a review of other cars, you know, the dealerships have, or purely fun. Go on mountain road trips, do car shows, different events like that. I have done quite a few road trips in this car. It is not ideal, however, it's fun because it's a Lamborghini. It's fun to be able to take this different places. So I've taken a trip to my childhood hometown. That was a 9-hour round trip. Done a couple events, actually even with a Lamborghini dealership, which was pretty fun. We drove this 11-hour home. So I do all sorts of just driving. So I drive this a lot just to enjoy the thrill of what it has to offer. I don't really use this in a utilitarian sense. Sometimes we will do like a small grocery shopping trip and I'll take this car just because it's an excuse to drive it. I like driving it, and if we just need to literally get a gallon of milk, we'll take this because obviously we can fit a gallon of milk in the trunk and it's purely fun. So this car, 99% of the driving is strictly for fun use. I've driven it about 4,000 miles in over a year, which is honestly not bad for something that isn't a daily driver. Now, the fun factor in this car is unmatched with the single clutch transmission. Oh man, there is character to the shifting. The 10-cylinder is an addicting sound. It is intoxicating to accelerate and hear this thing roar. It is so much fun on a whole new level, quite honestly. So handling, we've done a lot of mountain trips. This handles good. It's also a car you gotta be on your toes, obviously. The way it handles, there's not really driver aids and things. It's rear-wheel drive. You know, so it can definitely get out from under you if you hit a big bump or something like that on a turn. But it is fun to go through the mountains and just drive it. So I like that aspect. When I drive at places, you can't drive this without getting people giving you the thumbs up, waving, taking photos, talking to you at a gas station. It gets a lot of attention. It's all been positive attention. People love seeing it. It's kind of that sweet spot. Yes, it's an expensive car, but it's not $1 million SVJ. So when people see it, it's more of like, what is that car? Is that one of those Lamborghini, Ferrari type of cars? So it's cool to share it with people because you don't see these every day. So this car, it just offers a whole new driving experience, even though it doesn't really have the practicality. But with that, the trunk is big enough for 2 backpacks and maybe 2 lunch boxes. The shelf behind, I bought a mini lunchbox that perfectly fits behind my driver's seat. So when I go places, I can fit a whole lunch and an extra water bottle back there. So it's actually been practical enough for what we use it for, to where we can genuinely spend a day driving this car, exploring the area, doing an event or whatever. And it's not like you can't bring anything with you. And it's a new enough, modern enough car to where it's still livable and usable. It's just got that edge. Man. It's also plenty fast. You will hit 100 without thinking, and given these sounds, there's so much sound this car produces. There's a raw shift with the transmission. You feel like you're going 100 even when you're going slow. So this is a car, no matter how I'm driving it, it is exhilarating and fun. The only thing I hate with this car is driving it in bumper-to-bumper traffic. It feels and operates exactly like a stick shift manual transmission. And it's just not the greatest feeling when you're creeping in traffic going 2 miles an hour. This is a car I don't just save for sunny days. I just drive as long as it's not raining and I'm not going on like the highway for hours and hours where I know there'll be traffic. I will try to choose to take this car. With that said, I'm obviously not going to take this car in every circumstance. If I need to bring stuff, have people with me, or if I'm just not feeling up to driving this. I feel like this car does take a little extra like mental attention. If you're, you know, tired from a long day, this isn't really the car to drive just because it takes more focus. You got to be on your toes more with this car. And the more energetic you are with this car, the more you're going to enjoy what it has. Oh man. However, if you've had a boring day and you want to get your blood flowing and get some adrenaline going, that's when I'll take this. I will take this car out for no reason. I will literally drive it 10 miles to go fill up, even though the gas station is 2 miles down the road. So I will use this car to drive, purely to drive. And that to me is the best part about this. I can use it for the normal stuff, but man, oh man, this is the best therapy. You ride in this car, you drive it, and you are just in a whole new world of fun. Moving on to the Audi now. So the things that we really like about this is the fact that this is a luxury car. What I like is the ride quality. I'm in comfort mode, and to me, this is so nice. I can just relaxingly drive for hours. I could sit in this seat forever. The transmission is actually pretty forgiving in just normal driving. It's not a clunky single clutch. So it's a forgiving enough car compared to the Lambo to where you can sit back, relax. It's quiet. It's just a nice car to be in. With that said, it still gives me a whole different level of fun. I love the raw characteristics and the V10 in the Lambo. It is so unique. This car though is actually just as unique. And with these drive modes, you know, we got our It sounds so cool. We have the individual mode, we can customize it. There's dynamic for kind of a nice sport mode, the performance mode as well. So you can really dial this car up and it becomes a little race car rocket ship. It is ultra fast, ultra precise. Everything you want this car to do for you, it's gonna do exactly when you want it to do that. It is very, very fast and confident. The Lamborghini is very, very fast, not as confident. It is a old school technology car. It's 20 years old when you look at the actual tech of it. So you really gotta be on your toes, which adds to the thrilling aspects of what you get with that. But it's also nice to be in a modern car to where you can pin it, rip on it, and what technology is in this car that you don't see is gonna save you. It's gonna keep this car planted and you're just gonna whip it around turns and do anything. So this is a car that we use for kind of the daily stuff. If we're not really looking for a car that is hard to drive, this is so easy to drive. Any normal modern car, anybody can drive them. Anybody can drive a modern car fast, quite honestly. And then if we're going on maybe a other type of mountain trip to where we also want some comfort, this is a car we can comfortably get up to the mountains and then rip it. And no, we are gonna be smiling going through the turns. This car, we can push a lot harder. You can go way faster around a turn in this car. You're gonna be going faster out of the turn, harder on the brakes. You can drive this like almost a modern race car. You know, you could take this to the track and beat on it and drive it as fast as you think you can probably go. The Lambo, you're not gonna be able to do that. You're gonna have to kind of finesse it. It's not really designed to just go as fast as you can in it. So this car gives me something that I can't get in the Lamborghini. I love how quick that car is. Everything about the fun factor is so there. But if I wanna get on it and drive it like I stole it, I can do it in this car confidently. When it's raining out, you don't have to think about it. You can still, you can rip on this in the rain, it's no big deal. So this is a ultra well-rounded vehicle. You can go anywhere and do anything. And it reminds me a lot of my old Nissan GT-R. That's the car I sold to buy the Lambo. And I did lose something when I made that transition. I lost that crazy fast, precise car with all-wheel drive to just drive fast whenever you want. So to have another car that is that precise to where you just have 100% confidence to just go for it, you know, that's what this car shines at. And the fact that it is so well-rounded, one touch of a button, we are comfortable. The suspension's toned down, the steering is lazy. I mean, this is a nice luxury car from my perspective. Again, it's not the most luxury focused car out there. There are way better luxury cars at this price point, but none of them have the fun factor. So after driving in the 8Y Audi RS3 alongside the Lamborghini Gallardo, there's honestly no real comparison. They're not competitors at all, and you don't really see any carryover since they're both Volkswagen products. Now, if this was the 8V, which is the previous generation RS3, you would see a little bit of carryover with the multimedia and some of the leathers, the stitchings, things like that are gonna be a little bit more similar. Just like if this was a Huracan, you would notice some carryover and some similarities with the RS3. So this is previous generation versus the most modern generation car. With that said though, as a duo, these really do have a lot to offer. Of course, completely different, but it's nice to be able to have a super refined, fast, precise car with modern tech alongside old school and just something that is way different. And something I have noticed, a lot of Lamborghini owners will have an Audi alongside their car as more of the daily for the family or wife or something like that. And you see that in a lot of cars. An Acura NSX owner might have an Integra Type S as their secondary car. A GT500 owner might have a Super Duty. So you see a lot of people buying cars in the same family with each other, and that's clearly what my wife and I have done, it seems. And I think they both offer a lot being in the same family. But with that said, what do you guys think? Is this the ultimate duo of old school supercar with new school modern performance sedan? Comment below, what duo would you have that's in the same family? Do you like certain brands and all the companies that are in that umbrella? Comment down below. With that said, that is it for today's video comparing the RS3 to the Lamborghini Gallardo. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.